There is a word that most people have never heard. A word that a physician named Dr. Judah Folkman spent his entire career trying to get the medical world to take seriously. A word that eventually changed how cancer is treated around the planet. And a word that, once you understand it, will completely change how you think about the food on your plate. That word is angiogenesis. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you are going to wish someone had explained this to you 20 years ago. I'm Dr. William, and on this channel, we take the most important science being done in the world of nutrition and disease prevention, and we translate it into plain language that you can actually use. No medical degree required, no complicated jargon, just the science clearly explained with practical steps you can take starting today. Today, we are going deep on angiogenesis, what it is, why it matters more than almost anything else when it comes to cancer, what happens when it goes wrong, and most importantly, which specific foods have been scientifically shown to support your angiogenesis defense system so that the microscopic cancers that are almost certainly already in your body right now never get the chance to become dangerous. Stay with me, because this is the foundation of everything we cover on this channel. Let us start with the basics. Your body contains approximately 60,000 miles of blood vessels. If you pulled them all out and laid them end to end, they would wrap around the Earth more than twice. That is how vast your circulatory system is. These blood vessels are the highways of your body. Every single cell in your body, your heart, your lungs, your brain, your skin, your organs, every cell needs a blood supply. Blood delivers oxygen. Blood delivers nutrients. Blood removes waste. Without blood vessels, nothing survives. Now, angiogenesis, from the Greek words angio, meaning vessel, and genesis, meaning creation, is simply the process your body uses to grow new blood vessels. And this process is absolutely essential to life. When you are a baby developing in the womb, angiogenesis is building the entire vascular system from scratch. When you cut your finger, angiogenesis grows new, tiny blood vessels into the wound to help it heal. When you exercise and your muscles grow stronger, angiogenesis is supplying those new muscle fibers with blood. When a woman goes through pregnancy, angiogenesis builds an entirely new organ, the placenta, complete with its own blood supply. Angiogenesis is life. It is repair. It is growth. It is one of the most fundamental biological processes in the human body. But here's the thing that most people never learn, and this is where the story gets both disturbing and genuinely hopeful at the same time. Angiogenesis can also be hijacked. Let us talk about what happens when cancer tries to grow inside your body. Because this is where understanding angiogenesis becomes, quite literally, a matter of life and death. Every single day, cells in your body divide and replicate, billions of times. And occasionally, because biology is not perfect, a cell makes a copying error, a mutation. Something goes wrong in the DNA, and that cell becomes abnormal. This is happening in your body right now. It happens in everyone's body, all the time. And the remarkable thing is that most of these abnormal cells are quickly caught and destroyed by your immune system before they ever become anything dangerous. But some of them slip through, and when they do, they start dividing. Slowly at first. A cluster of 2 abnormal cells becomes 4, becomes 8. A tiny microscopic mass begins to form. And here is the critical moment. The moment that determines whether that cluster of cells remains harmless forever or becomes the kind of cancer that changes a person's life. That moment is angiogenesis. Here is why. That tiny cluster of abnormal cells, that microscopic cancer, is so small that it can survive without a blood supply for a while. It gets just enough oxygen and nutrients from the surrounding tissue to keep dividing slowly. But it cannot grow beyond a certain size without its own dedicated blood supply. Without new blood vessels growing directly into it, it is trapped. It cannot expand. It cannot invade. It cannot spread. Scientists call this state dormancy. The cancer is there, but it is contained, held in check, essentially harmless. A healthy angiogenesis system regulates when and where blood vessels should grow, and can prevent tumors from recruiting a private blood supply for the oxygen they need to expand. When the body loses this ability to control blood vessels, a wide range of diseases can occur, including cancer. So your body's angiogenesis defense system is essentially a gatekeeper. As long as it is working properly, It keeps those microscopic cancers exactly where they are, small, dormant, harmless. The moment that defense weakens, a tumor can send out chemical signals, recruiting new blood vessels to grow into it. And once that happens, everything changes. A tumor with a blood supply can double in size, then double again, then spread through those very blood vessels to other parts of the body. This is what makes cancer dangerous, not the initial mutation, not the first abnormal cell, the blood supply. It is what moves dormant and early stages of cancer to the invasive and malignant growth stages. Studies show that the blood vessel growth is directly related to both cancer growth and recurrence. This is the insight that Dr. Judah Folkman spent decades fighting to establish. That cancer is, at its core, an angiogenesis-dependent disease. And that cutting off the blood supply to a tumor, anti-angiogenesis therapy, could be one of the most powerful ways to fight cancer. He was right. Today, anti-angiogenic drugs are used in the treatment of more than a dozen types of cancer. The work of the Angiogenesis Foundation, led by Dr. William Lee, has contributed to treatments that have impacted more than 50 million people worldwide. But here is the part of the story that most people never hear. The part that is relevant to you, sitting right here, right now, watching this video. You do not have to wait until you have cancer to use this knowledge. Your body already has a built-in anti-angiogenesis system, right now, working every minute of every day. It produces its own natural compounds that suppress abnormal blood vessel growth, that keep those microscopic cancers dormant, small, and harmless. And the single most important question when it comes to long-term cancer prevention is this: how do you keep that system strong? The Angiogenesis Foundation examined the role that food and their extracts can play in the disruption of new blood vessel development in solid tumors. In a drug development system that they designed, they showed that you can get results that look similar to or are more potent than some pharmaceuticals, including anti-cancer drugs. Let me say that again in plain language. Certain foods, tested in the same way that cancer drugs are tested, showed results as powerful as, or more powerful than, actual cancer medications at suppressing the abnormal blood vessel growth that feeds tumors. That is not a small claim. That is a profound one. So which foods? Let us get specific. The first food is one you probably already have in your kitchen: tomatoes, specifically cooked tomatoes. Tomatoes contain a compound called lycopene. Lycopene is what gives tomatoes their deep red color. And lycopene is one of the most studied natural anti-angiogenic compounds in the world. But here's the part that surprises almost everyone. Only 20% of the lycopene is available in a raw tomato. The lycopene secret is in the sauce. When you cook a tomato, when you make it into pasta sauce, into soup, into a roasted side dish, the heat breaks down the cell walls and releases far more lycopene than you could ever get from eating a raw tomato. And the research on what that lycopene does is striking. A study by Harvard researchers appearing in the International Journal of Cancer looked at a large population and focused on the association between consuming these foods and health outcomes. They found a statistically significant 59% reduction in the risk of prostate cancer progression. 59% from eating cooked tomatoes. Now add one more element: extra virgin olive oil. Because when you cook tomatoes in olive oil, a dish that has existed in Mediterranean kitchens for centuries, the fat from the oil helps your body absorb the lycopene even more efficiently. You are not just eating a delicious meal. You are running an anti-angiogenesis protocol that has been validated by science. The second food is green tea. And if you are only going to add one beverage to your daily routine after watching this video, this is the one. Green tea contains a compound called EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. EGCG has been shown in laboratory studies to be one of the most potent natural inhibitors of VEGF, vascular endothelial growth factor, which is the primary chemical signal that tumors use to recruit new blood vessels. In other words, EGCG directly interferes with the mechanism by which cancer tries to build its own blood supply. 2 to 3 cups of green tea per day. That is the amount that research has pointed to as meaningful. Not a supplement, not a special extract, just green tea, brewed normally, consumed regularly. The third category is berries. Blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries all contain compounds, ellagic acid, anthocyanins, and resveratrol, that have demonstrated anti-angiogenic activity in scientific studies. A handful of mixed berries. That is it. That is the dose. And the fourth is something that might surprise you. Dark chocolate. Specifically, chocolate with high cacao content, 70% or above. The polyphenols in cacao have been shown not only to support your angiogenesis defense system, but also to activate your stem cells. We will cover stem cells in detail in a future video, but for now, know that a small square of quality dark chocolate is doing real biological work inside your body. Keep watching. Because I want to address something that a lot of people wonder about at this point. You might be thinking, if these foods are so powerful, why is cancer still so common? Why has not this information changed everything? It is a fair question, and the honest answer has two parts. First, food works preventively. It works by keeping those microscopic cancers dormant. It works by supporting your body's own defense systems before anything goes wrong. It is not a cure for advanced cancer. Dr. William Li himself is very clear about this. Food is not a replacement for medicine, surgery, or your doctor's advice. It is a tool that works alongside those things and works best when used consistently over years and decades. Second, most people are not eating these foods in meaningful amounts. They are not thinking about angiogenesis at breakfast. They are not choosing foods with their defense systems in mind. That is exactly why we are here, because information changes behavior, and behavior, over time, changes outcomes. As long as the angiogenesis system operates properly, blood vessels grow in the right place at the right time, not too many, not too few, but just the right amount. Keeping this perfect balance in the circulatory system is at the heart of how angiogenesis defends health. Your job is not to fight cancer. Your body is already doing that. Your job is to give it the tools it needs to do that job well. Let me give you something practical before we finish. This week, just this week, I want you to make one change. One simple addition to what you are already eating. Cook tomatoes twice. Pasta sauce on Monday. Roasted tomatoes on Thursday. Cook them in olive oil. That is it. That is the whole instruction. If you already do that, add green tea. 2 cups a day, morning and after lunch. Green tea, not green tea supplements, not green tea extract. Just the tea, brewed for 3 minutes. These are not dramatic changes. They will not turn your life upside down, but they are changes that are doing real, measurable, scientifically validated work inside your body every single time you consume them. This is what thriving after 50 actually looks like. Not a radical diet, not an expensive supplement routine, just understanding what your body's defense systems need and making sure more of the right foods end up on your plate, consistently, day after day. Tomorrow on this channel, we are going to talk about the second of Dr. Li's 5 defense systems, stem cells. And what I'm going to share with you about stem cells is going to completely change how you think about aging. Your body can regenerate, not like a starfish, not dramatically, but meaningfully every single day. And the foods that activate that process are things you already know, you just did not know what they were doing inside you. Subscribe to Thrive After 50 so you do not miss it. And if today's video helped you understand your body differently, share it with someone who needs to hear this, because this is the kind of science that deserves to be in more kitchens and more conversations than it currently is. I will see you tomorrow.
All content is for educational purposes only, inspired by the research of Dr. William Li and the Angiogenesis Foundation. Thrive After 50 is an independent educational channel, not affiliated with Dr. William Li. Always consult your physician for personal medical advice.